Hi, my name is Chris Wilson. I am an outdoor climbing guide and instructor at the Crag Nashville, and we're going to talk about the slots. These are new wooden holds from Portahang. You can see they're hanging above the door right now. I'm going to unbox this one. You've got two different end cuts on the slots. One is 20 millimeters deep and one is 15 millimeters deep. These are going to feel a lot like the wooden hangboards that are out there on the market. One of the things I like about wooden holds is that you got no friction aiding you. A lot of climbing holds that are in gyms or on hangboards are made of this material called resin, and it feels really nice. It feels like climbing on like some really new sandstone. There's a lot of friction for your fingers to sink into. You're not getting that on the wooden holds. So for that reason, I like to hangboard on the wooden holds, just because when you're coming into hangboarding, we're specifically trying to work on our grip strength and our finger strength. And so if you don't have friction aiding you, then you're by nature having to kind of bear down a little more. The stuff almost feels like smoothed out limestone or granite. So one of the perks to the way the product is made is, like a lot of the other Portahang holds, is if you loosen the bolt, you can flip the product in a lot of different orientations and get different workouts. It's really important with this hold because, again, we've got two different edges. We've got a 20 millimeter edge and a 15 millimeter edge. Now, I like to have them opposite. And the reason being, when we're outside climbing, very rarely are we gonna load a hold that's perfectly horizontal. Now, what's one of the downsides to a lot of the hangboards out there is maybe you can work on a particular depthness of edge, but you're always gonna be doing it perfectly horizontal. And so I like to be able to simulate more of the outside context, which is never gonna be horizontal. It's always gonna be a little bit off kilter. And again, the advantage of the Portahang is if you have these holds in the opposite of each other's orientations, then to make sure you get the same thing in both hands, then you can just move the products over and make sure that you're getting the same holds with different orientations and hitting both sides evenly. Because again, if we're working out, there's no reason to overload one side and neglect the other. Common cause of injury. So here I've got 15 millimeter hangs, and again on these products, over the top is again another great jug. Kind of mentioned in some other videos out there that if you're trying to work up to a hold, say you walk up to this 15 millimeter edge and it's just way too much for you, what you can do is you can put your hand over the top of one of the products, giving you a great jug, and then put the other hand on the 15 millimeter edge and start to weight that. You're not gonna put as much of your weight on the 15 millimeter edge because you've got this just bare hook on the other side, and you can kind of work into newer edges and smaller edges progressively that way. But let's just say you've worked into 15 millimeter edges and that's your jam, that's what you're doing. Again, this is what it would look like if you hung on them with them in the upside down positions from each other. Is you've got 15 millimeter edge right there, you do your hang, you do your rest, and then you can pull them across, and then you're still on 15 millimeter edges, but you've made sure to switch and put yourself in all the different orientations. Now, if the switching and confusing kind of nature of that leads you to want to just put them in the same orientation, no problem, but just again, versatility of the product that can create some interesting workouts.